Okay, I guess I am streaming now. Let's just, yes, okay, cool, cool, cool. We got a little bit of latency here. I just want to get some music playing while I go in the background. Now, again, I'm not going to have the music playing while I'm doing this. And by the way, if you hear a weird like sound in the background, it's because it's the first day that actually it's gotten like close to 80, or if not over 80 here in Portland, uh, degrees Fahrenheit. And it's kind of warm, so I put my fan over here. So, uh, mm. And I forget that. Well, tomorrow in the United States we have a holiday called Memorial Day. Well, not a lot of countries have the same exact sort of thing, variations on the same. But it's the official start of the tourist season up here in, well, just pretty much the entire country. But that's when we can expect, basically, the ferries to turn into cattle cars. Basically, you go out there and you're going to have to, like, fight uh, tourists from all over the world to be able to get on the ferry before it departs. The one advantage that we have here in Portland is that a lot of people who go on the ferries, they are, I mean, nobody ever watches these streams, so I'm comfortable just going into this. Just about what I really like is, I mean, I've been here long enough to have seen the tourist, really just, I mean, surge. I mean, it was a big tourist town before I even moved up here to Portland, but I mean, I've seen it really surge and just see these ships coming in. Just make sure parent objects are not selected. And yeah, it's gotten much more intense since I moved here. And but as I was saying, there's a little hack. If you're ever taking the Peaks a ferry out to one of the islands, particularly Peaks Island, which is the most popular destination of Casco Bay, uh, the tourists always get in a line. No, don't bother. Um, that is just a big mistake that tourists make. Because really there is no line to get on that ferry. You basically situate yourself, close to the loading platform, and you just get your butt on the ferry. But because people are so used to just queuing or getting in line or queuing, as the Canadians and British like to say, um, do the Canadians say queuing? Goodbye, everybody. We had 3 viewers, and now we're down to 0. Nice to see that I'm keeping my charismatic screen presence. All right. So what we have here is we wanted to get the garden shop. This was in the previous alpha, and for some reason it was removed in the somewhere along the. It is actually we can create empty. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call this garden shop and just haul that all the way to the top. By the way, considering we have no viewers now, hey, how you doing? That's my kind of crowd. Nobody. Like my t-shirt says, we're cats, as people. I'm just, yeah. How is everybody doing, by the way, again, on this great, beautiful Memorial Day? It is nice, I will say. Today, I tempted Laura with like the idea of maybe going out to Cliff Island earlier today, but she wisely said, nope, because really there is a heck of a lot of stuff that we got to do for this playtest version before we can really just seriously cut out of town for what, 6 hours. So we got the garden shop here. Just going to turn that off so we know. Hold on. Looks like there's still some stuff that should have been pushed into there. My goodness. These LOD things are such a big keister. We need to eliminate LOD on some of these things. But anyway. I'm seeing no one in the chat. No one saying anything. That's the way we roll, baby. And we're going to put all of that again back up top into this, garden shop that we just created. Make sure we got the parent, parent and child object conflicts. And, I should maybe, talk about games and movies and stuff rather than just like what I'm doing. Because really, I can explain it and it doesn't get any more interesting. That's the problem. And we still have something that is not going into there. And that is what we in the business call very annoying. So, slide those up there. We're great now. Okay, so, we got a viewer again. Hello. I hope, no, I'm not going to say I hope you don't like Run because really, I constantly acknowledge that these, live casts aren't the most exciting of, things. But hey, if you do choose to hang out for a bit, that'd be cool. But no judgment if you leave, I, again, acknowledge this is not exciting fare, just going through, and sewing up things. And this isn't even for, the final, the public beta. This is for the closed beta, but hey, it's all got to get done. So what we're going to do here is again make sure there's no parent. And we have 2 viewers. Hello. Oh, you know what? That's the thing. I stopped talking about this, that, and the other. I'll talk about movies. Anybody seen any good movies lately? I've heard great things about the new Puss in Boots movie from people that I completely respect, like Filmento and what was it, Saber Spark and such. I'm thinking after this stream, we've been working like crazy getting this beta out, or no, I'm sorry, getting the not the playtest version out. I wouldn't mind just taking maybe an evening off and just seeing that, because I understand it's great on a heck of a lot of levels, and it's again about a cat, and that can't go wrong with that. So just saying, if anybody has seen that, let me know. Probably you have, because that franchise is huge. Isn't it part of the Shrek franchise? I'm not sure. I am currently culturally illiterate. I've not followed much of the DreamWorks, and I've never even seen an entire Toy Story movie. That part of culture just sort of right over my head. I never really, so all of that is sort of new to me. And the Marvel Cinematic Universe, don't even get me not interested in the slightest. And what really gets me about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I will go on about this for a second, is that they release movies occasionally that I'd be interested in, like the latest, what was it, Thor, that was directed by Taika Waititi. From what I understand, it was a funny movie when you had Thor acting like Homer Simpson. And I watched it, but the problem is for about 75% of the movie, it was cutting away and referencing stuff from previous movies that, sorry, I cannot be bothered to watch. Judge me all you want, I cannot be bothered to watch. When I last asked my friend, if he had seen them all, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to copy all of these elements over into their own file where I'm going to distribute them overseeing into their own terrain. So what we're going to do now is go to actually, no, this is my landscaping. So what I can do is actually get rid of all these little things else. And now I'm going to say this again. and I need to go into one of my main scenes and bring this back. Yeah, when it was like 29 films at a point where and this was several years ago, and I know since then so many more have come out. And yeah, it to me, can I say when I started watching Game of Thrones, number one, well, I'm not even going to go off on that, man. I was somewhat intrigued because it seemed like it was going to have a good plot and everything. Um, but I immediately saw this is a time sink. This is something that HBO and such trust that I will spend. Let's see, Veg 21, because we're going to get our terrains out there and bring them back into our landscaping scene. Um, they expect me to like invest a lot of time, and then as is now, I did not have the time. I did not. I mean, because by that time, I think I forget what season it was up to. It was up to at least season three, and et cetera, et cetera. And I watched it. It was like, yeah, kind of interesting, until the third episode, which, by the way, just was like a wet fart after the first two episodes. And that was why I mean I realized, oh, the third season episode in, when we try like put out all the weird incest craziness, sex violence and stuff, we have time for these two, the hand and the butt or whatever they are, to sit by the side of the road and eat apples and talk about politics for, God knows it was so long, and I just couldn't be bothered. I was cleaning my office. I just couldn't be bothered. And so I didn't watch the rest. And you know what was really, really effing delicious, can I say, is all those people through all those years. And I mean, I never advertised. I'm not one of those douchebags that goes, I don't watch that because I don't do that publicly. I may do that online and on like on Facebook, but I don't do that like just whatever. Except for Stranger Things. Just something there doesn't. Anyway, let me see. But it's judgmental. No, it's just that trust me. Whenever something, I've seen this happen at least four times in the last 10 years, actually, and it always appears on sites like Boing Boing and such, where somebody does a quote unquote thought piece about people who are depriving themselves. Oh, these dilettantes who refuse to like sit down and watch all these dozens and dozens of episodes to be caught up, just like the rest of us around our water coolers. Right there already, I'm getting sick. I mean, I refuse to work anywhere where you have to get water out of a cooler. Um, anyway, but they're always like, oh, these people are depriving themselves and they're trying to like prove that they're better than us. And I never fall into that. Never fall into that. I mean, fell into that because, like as Bill Burr once said, much wisely. And so let me just grab these terrains while we're here because that's what I was here to do. Terrain original. We all like stupid shit. We all like some of our stupid shit. We just do. I mean, I like Star Trek, except for like a lot of just about everything that has been done since Voyager, with the exception of Picard season three. I'll tell you. And by the way, please talk in the chat, please. Whoever's watching, even if it's mom or my sister or something, please, or maybe Lance. Who knows? Just talk to me if you got something to say, or you're just watching. But hey, I do understand. I really can't cajole my audience into talking because some people, they are asocial, and I don't want to push somebody into that. So don't let me. But anyway, like I said, I don't mean to like be that person who goes, oh, if you're into something, I'm shaming you, but at the same time, I'm not one of those dilettantes who's like depriving myself. Sorry, I just don't have the time. I will say, well, no, I'm not going to go to that. Because I will say, lends me off on another tangent. And, Grandpa Simpson here is going to forget. Actually, I don't think I right-click these and copy them. I'm not going to be secure in my ADD or no OCD mind until I copy these. So we go back to landscaping now. Oh, this is going to be quick, by the way, because I think it's only a few sectors. What burns my butt? You know what grinds my gears? I seem to have lost a scene where I carefully placed these big sort of abutment rocks that have really nice scenery, visible from them. But I can place them again later tonight. The night is still young, as they say. Oh, hello, Sophie. Oh, okay, cool. And by the way, yeah, I don't mean to like push people who are like asocial, into talking, because I did get like messages at one point where they're like, "Oh yeah, I work all the time, and I'm sorry I can't talk," and trust me, I'm asocial as well. I'm totally. She's again, I get it. I totally get it. So I don't mean to shame anybody. But anyway, I think I was what was I ranting about superhero movies? And then I got off on another tangent and I started screaming at a cloud. Sophie, what was I screaming at before you were, you finally reminded me. I think it was MCU. Oh no, a Game of Thrones. That was the thing. Because all during those months when people were shaming people like me who did, it's just that, sorry, I mean, great that you guys are enjoying Game of Thrones, no judgment on this side, but we just don't have the time. And when they finally got to the end of the series, and everybody was going, oh my god, that was like having a sumo wrestler sit on my face and fart for 90 minutes or however long it was. I mean, all of us, no offense, Game of Thrones fans, we were just sitting back going, yep, good thing we never invested our time, emotion, or anything into that. Yep. And anyway, I mean, again, no judgment on you guys, because we all like our stupid shit. I mean, I'm a big, like I said, Trek. I did Trek. I think I recently I did force Laura, but I was like, Laura, you gotta see, the last a couple of episodes. I know the last season of Picard, and she was, bless her soul, she put up with me. Um, and I will say, the other seasons of Picard, again, sumo wrestler farting in your face. Those seasons were just absolutely just oh god awful. I was wondering, what the heck am I looking at? Am I looking at like some sort of weird Dada art project? It made no sense. That first episode of season one, where they had like the stupid phaser battle that went on for like 5 minutes, I mean, bless him, Patrick, bless you, Sir Patrick, but you put up with a lot in that series. Well, a series I don't watch. Actually, no. Well, I was talking about movie series I don't watch. And that's sort of, I don't like it. I mean, now we have movie series that are as like expansive. I mean, the original Star Trek had so many, I think 57 episodes all told. I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to search how many MCU films have been released. 32 films. My goodness. I mean, really, if they double that, they will be, I mean, and they probably will, because that was since 2007. And heaven Betsy, if we can keep the world going until then, they will, create more MCU. And can I just say, and this is because I don't like superheroes. I just don't. Because there's no mystery to what is going to happen. You can put whatever stakes that you want on it. But in the end, here's what's going to happen. The superhero is going to find something within them to overcome this thing this new challenge that they've never seen before, and blah, blah, blah. And, it'll be something that they can call back to, or, well, it's just... I did start writing a Aquaman screenplay for Aquaman, and they just don't get. I mean, I realize they got Jason Momoa, and he's like, whatever, and like being all postmodern or whatever. but dude, he's still that same freaking, muscle bound lunk character. And I sorry, I think I've lost track of what I was doing here. Sorry, go. Okay, cool, cool. Um, but I mean, what I mean, I wanted to have like Aquaman the movie. It opens with Aquaman. It's played by John Krasinski, the guy who played Jim in The Office, and he's like driving like a 1986 Yugo. If you don't know what a Yugo is, it's like still known as the worst car ever made, because it was like the East, the communist bloc's attempt to export autos to the West. And anyway, he's listening to Nickelback. He's listening to it on his Yugo. It breaks down after some trucker throws like a big gulp full of like trucker spit at his head, and it just went on like that. You just need to abuse Aquaman. That is the only I want just abuse of Aquaman for a very long time. Yes, that's what I call top tier entertainment. And by the way, I shouldn't have deleted that because this is where I'm going to be naming these. Sorry. Um, and the thing, what was going to happen is that I mean, after I forget whether Aquaman was like Marvel Cinematic. He was like kicked out of the Justice League or no. What happens is after he after his girlfriend dumps him because she's sleeping with Superman. You see, this is a crossover between the MCU and the DCU. But anyway, he wakes up the next morning with a 40-ounce hangover, to talk to his dad, who's like, when are you going to get a job? He's like, dude, I get a good job. No, dude, son, you have to get a job. Son, you have to get a job now. He goes, no, come on, I got that job picking up coffee for the guys at the Justice League headquarters. I'm talking about a real job, son. Shut up, Dad. And he just stomps out of like King Neptune's headquarters. And what he does is he gets a Greyhound bus out to his friends, antimatter eater, out to Arizona to hang with his two like college buddies, which are two other superheroes from the MCU. There was antimatter eater lad, and I forget it was, oh god. There was like Crash Test Dummy Man or something like that. I mean, really, it was like Indestructible Man or something like that. And I mean, he just show up there. The best job that Aquaman would be able to get was, he'd be one of those guys that it holds that big arrow made out of foam core, and it would just be like $5, $3 foot long tuna subs. So I mean, that would add extra like irony to it. And what he would do is while he's like watching that and like drinking a Coke, because he doesn't make enough money at Subway to like buy a sandwich there. He sees that the Super Friends back in New York are trying to make money off something that he did, and I don't know. From then on, I forget. I think I started. That was another thing that I had a night off and I just worked on that for the evening. I have nothing to add to it beyond that. But hey, if one of the producers for the MC or DCU is watching, totes, call me. I mean, I have the first act. I actually posted the first act to the Aquaman subreddit, and for 24 hours it was the top um, um, post on the Aquaman subreddit. I wonder if they've deleted it by now. Uh, mm, let's see. So yeah, I now I need to copy these two things, the garden landscaping, into my veg studio scene where I'm able to more conveniently just push these into the prefabs where they go, or no, the chunks where they go. Now, a series that I watched that I really don't get why people. I mean, bless you if you liked it. No judgment on this side of the table, but I did not get Better Call Saul. I watched the first season and a couple episodes of the second season. I don't get it. I just don't. I try. Oh goodness, we never set our version control. Um, I just did not get Better Call Saul. I mean, maybe it spiced up after the first two seasons, but I'll just remember them like conning some guy in a bar for tequila, and there was something about a Coco Bolo desk, and that lasted for something 3 episodes, I think it was. If somebody in the chat could explain to me what Better Call Saul was about, and did it really spice up in later episodes? I mean, maybe I should give it another try. The next time I'm incapacitated to the point that I cannot use my computer, maybe I should check it out. But I just don't get it. And yeah, I mean, people I respect love it. I'm what's his face? Penguin Zero. I like Penguin Zero, and he was like, "Oh, top moist meter, best ever." But I can, try to do my Penguin Zero. Best movie I've seen. Number one top. Yeah, I can't. He has that delivery. I have to. The thing is, I have to drop my voice, and because of the way because of that, I can't get air in fast enough to talk. But anyway, he loved it. So I mean, I'm used to being in the minority on things. Were you here when I was talking about Firefly? That's one of those series that just really gets me. Where I'm just like, I don't get it. I just don't. Bless you if you like it, but I watched the entire series, and God, Sophie, yes, Breaking Bad, top moist meter. Except, can I say, I think they were going to finish it after season 4. Except the problem, because everything, if you watch season 4 again, every damned loose end, every last one was sewn up tight and ready to go. I don't need to explain it. Watch it again. Season 5, I think they asked for it because if they ended at season 4, Walter White never suffers for all that he did. And if you see, I mean, Walter White in that subsequent season goes off the deep end in a way that is out of character with everything that he did in the previous 4 seasons. So, yes. And I like how it ended. It was good. And I mean, considering I think, they tacked on season 5 as an afterthought, they handled it as best as they could. I think it had a satisfying ending. Yeah, I like Breaking Bad. Um, that was one of the things. Here in Portland, we had one of the few remaining video rental places when I moved up here. And we discovered Breaking Bad when we were down there one day. We rented season 1 of Breaking Bad. And yeah, we were hooked to the point that I actually bought an entire, I think it was season 3, new, because they didn't have any used. And I was like, damn it! They may have one used, they may have one for rip. I gotta know. So it's like, I big Breaking fan, top moist meter here, but I just, again, I don't understand. I mean, yeah, the first episode of A Better Call Saul, they had that hard because they had Tuca Salamanca, not the crazy mofo, the gangster that broke those 2 kids' legs. And I thought, oh yeah, and whatever, and they brought back Saul. What? No, Weintraub, not Saul Weintraub. Um, the hitman. And by the way, I got to step away for a moment because I actually have clams. I'm steaming clams on the oven, and I need to go check on them to make sure that I'm literally not burning clams. Because then I'll have to tell Laura, oh, it's the Aurora Borealis. Oh, you get it. Ah, And by the way, I know that the writer of the series, I forget his name now, but he's done a lot. I mean, he was started on the X Files, I believe. And he said, "Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Season 5 was it was intended since the very beginning. We need to cover these things. Did he want to be known as the writer who produced a series where a meth dealer wins? No. So of course he's going to say, "Oh yeah, Walter White was going to get it in the end. Yeah, sure enough." That was my Justin Roiland impersonation, almost really. Okay. Now we have these two thingamajobbies in two sectors, and it is 660. So we want to go into our exterior. In fact, just for my work purposes, I'm going to drag that all the way down here, so they're just right there, close and handy. So what we want to do is go and grab these 2780, which is right. I think we want them in unbaked objects. I wish I could just drag it up there. It's kind of. Are you going to prove me wrong, Unity, that I actually can again? Nope. All right. So what we want to do is unfortunately, I'm going to have to drag it back into place again, but that's totes cool because I have a existing version that I could. Oh no, there it is in the exact place it's supposed to be. That's beautiful. And what I'm going to do before I move on to the other one, by the way, is I'm just going to bake these right now. So, let me see. I need to go over this here again to see the one person. So, yeah, I saw Breaking Bad. I can't think of any other series that I really got into. I'll say the first season of the 100, really awesome. I mean, one of the I'm not as you could probably tell, being my age, I'm not in the WBs, demographics, target demographics. But man, I love post-apocalyptic fiction. And let me see, make sure and boy, those first couple of episodes, first like five, oh my goodness, that was one of the grimmest post-apocalyptic scenarios I saw. I mean, even with the kids, all the teenagers and everything. I mean, when they, what was the name? Bellamy. There was this one character that they hang, and I was like, man, that's. I mean, when they hang that guy, that is the most brutal scene I've seen on American television. I was wow. But I think I don't know whether Cass Morgan wrote all books to cover all of the subsequent seasons. I know she was a consultant on the show, and I have the feeling that she wrote those subsequent seasons just to draw it out, because after a certain point it seemed to be, I mean, they came to certain points where it's like, okay, this is about a definitive end as you can get to. I mean, the end where, like, I think there was this one season that was based on, it seemed to be, if you've ever heard of this book, it's called Z for Zachariah. I think it was written by the exact same guy who wrote Miss Brisby and the Rats of Nim. It's a post-apocalyptic story about this girl who lives in this one valley. And I believe it was either season 3 or 4 of the 100, where, there's this one fertile valley left on Earth. And man, they managed to screw that up too. And I think at that point there's this one scene where it's like they're fighting over this one valley, and one of the factions is like, they got nothing but a few people, and they're inside of just a hastily like built tent with crap and blood smeared on the walls. And I'm like, man, when humanity gets down to this point, that, I mean, really, just stop it. Because I got the impression, really, I mean, this is almost like Peace Island story. I mean, are the humans worth bringing back? And really, in that series, they don't present like a very good, convincing, argument for humans being worth bringing back. Because, I mean, just consistently, they're given one world after another and one thing after another, and they screw it up, and it resorts to violence each time. And, steamed clams. Let's see. Gotta put this into there. Actually, I want to zoom out. All right. It's kind of odd. Oh, I got the wrong thing selected. That's why. Duh. And I should get a spoon so I'm literally not eating like steamed clams with my fingers. Hold on for 1 moment, please. Right, I really should. Can't be too Homer Simpson. Hi, little spoon. What's up there? Oh, Ronan, come on. Hold on, guys. For those who may watch this, come on, Ronan. Get yourself some camera time. Become worldwide famous. You probably won't get to see it, but here he is. Fuzzy guy, Fuzzy Ronan. You'll see just probably his big old tail and butt just in front of the camera, just up here. He's following me around because he just digs food. And usually when I go into the kitchen, that's where food is. And yeah, I wish you'd show your face to the camera, little buddy. I can't move my camera, so he is what he is. Right now he's just like, okay, do you want some steamed clams with soy sauce? There. By the way, these weren't steamed. They were actually fried in lightly, sautéed in olive oil, with a little bit of soy sauce on top of them. Clams are actually very good, nutrition wise. And quite rather, Ronan, you need to weigh out. Oh, sorry. Come on. Or are you setting up camp here? Nope. All right. Yeah. Let me see my sound. Yeah, it is. Sorry. I need to put on some music. Give me a moment, or some sort of noise in the background. So, they had a new album last night that was just good, just Russian noise for about an hour. Lost Loops collection, yeah. What? $29? Holy crap! That's one expensive album. Wow. How much is it going to be? Digital album, $15. That's pretty good. Wow. Let's see. Go back to my stream. Okay. Yeah, that's our buddy. That's our that kitty there was Ronan, of course. He's he's one of the kitties we have here. Lizzie will never appear on camera. Olivia might. Oh no, actually, Lizzie, come on over. Hey, Lizzie. Sometimes you sit up here. Come on, kitty. We've got a viewer. She wants. They. I'm sorry. I'm so. Oh no, Sophie. She wants to see you, Lizzie. Come on. Oh, she's coming over. Just 3 steps at a time. Let's see. Do I have any kitty treats that might persuade her to come the rest of the way? Not here. And let's see what we can do here. Yeah, Lizzie, I'm just trying to get you a little bit fade here. Come on. There she. Yeah. I can't see myself. She is a Russian blue torty mix with polydactyl claws. She's got an extra thumb. She's very smart, a little bit overweight, but a good friend for so many years. Are you saying you need more kibble? That kibble bowl is full, little Lizzie. Do you want me to salt it with a few fresh kibbles to make it just smell good? So I'll be right back. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we got to get this. And Lizzie is a special kitty to me. What happened was, I moved up here to Portland, Maine, and when I moved up here, I had a black and white tuxedo cat named Boy, and I mean, if you looked at her, you just go, oh, she's a generic like Greg Tabby, and I called him her girl. Yeah, I was just, I love them, even though I gave them very just like very simple names. And I mean, before I brought them up, girl was given. I mean, I took them to the vet. They were given a good health check, but I mean, literally 6 months to the day after I moved up here, my little girl passed away because of kidney failure, and I have since learned that I think is the second most common killer among unfortunately, cause of death among domestic cats. And what I said is, she was the first cat that I ever lost, and I just couldn't deal with it. And I mean, I have since I, I I have since gone through, all the process of, mourning and such, that needed to be done at the time. But I literally adopted Liz here the very day after girl passed away. Um, and she really liked, she was the, active, wrestling sister that boy always needed. Because the thing is that girl, she was just a very just quiet, she just wanted peace and quiet. That's all she wanted. And I it's just unfair that she was the first to go. And she was, she never was in the fighting mood with her brother. But Liz, she came in here and she was, oh, I remember boy and her were getting into like little tussles, but something happened one night, or while we were away, man. He never screwed with her again. Let me tell you. I mean, they played. They weren't aggressive with each other. You know, but boy passed away, by the way, in jeez, I forget how many years ago now. It's sad, but the thing is he passed away during a really, I don't want to say, really just bad time in my life, and I try and forget the. I think it was around 20. Yeah, it was before the election and after my father passed away, so that would be going around 2015. Yeah, he passed away at the age of 16 at that point. I think. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was the best. But also Ronan's the best these days, and so on and so forth. I mean, what's really great about, I mean, Liz is that seriously, she's 50% of what girl used to be. I mean, when I look at her, the way she behaves, she's maybe got a little bit of tabby in her and such, but the way she, moves and all is really great. And looks over her shoulder at me when she wants me to follow her, etc. There's just the same sort of communication. And also, I've had now Lizzie longer than I had Girl. Girl passed away, unfortunately, at the age of about 6 months. No, about I'd say 11 years. Liz now is about 13. I adopted her, yeah, about, if not a little bit older. We'll see. I mean, because she was a year old when we adopted her. She was just thin. I mean, she was she was an outdoor cat. And I think what happened is, I don't know, maybe they saw, because from what I understand, when she was brought in, she was covered with ticks and fleas, and she was just, being eaten to death. And I think, a local family saw her and said, we have a shelter around here that's a no-kill shelter and very nice, and they brought her in, and um, anyway, from that, she's one of these cats. She is so happy to be indoors. I mean, her first year of life outdoors was obviously, I mean, every time it rains, there's a thunderstorm, she goes and hides still. She obviously had a tough time that first year. And she's like, I don't want to go anywhere else in life except right here. And Ronan has actually never, I mean, except as outside of the times he's been outside in the carrier, I don't think he's ever been out in the outside world. He's, just a very domesticated cat. All right, so we got those two things in. Now I need to test those in the main scene. Now this is something I put off because it was so mundane, but it had to be done. Just bring them in step by step, and now we want to test them to make absolutely sure that there are no conflicts, because we don't want all the fruit and stuff inside of the greenhouse here to be plopping around and just zipping out of space. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our prime scene. And oh, I've been going for 45 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, well, so it was explained to me, by the way, by a friend of mine. I haven't seen him in years, but he said, "Well, this, I mean, it's something we have to do for them because, understand. I mean, Ronan, I think he's 5 years old now. By now, on average, that's the average lifespan of a cat outside. So we are literally keeping them far alive far longer than they would be. I think, gosh, Zach passed away at the age of 19. That was Laura's cat. He was a real, he was a sweetheart. I loved him a lot. In fact, it was a passing of Zach that really spurred me to start working on Peace Island. Because here's Laura and I have known each other now for about 13 years. When we moved in, with each other, we both had two cats. Um, and I think, let me see, girl passed away first, and then Zach passed away. I think was before or after boy. Anyway, but he was the first cat, that I had gotten to know, and when he passed away, I was just really, I mean, surprised at how much it affected me. I mean, yeah, I knew when my cats died, I'd be just a wreck, and I was. Um, anyway, but when Zach passed away, I was surprised, and I was like, this is, I don't know. She used this as inspiration to do something. So, yeah, we're gonna run the cat, get the cat to a test spawn location. I want to get Laura's new weather preset so we can get the outside ready. We are going to be, by the way, releasing the playtest build on Tuesday. Uh, I can't see anything because we got just about everything we wanted into this that we needed. So I can't see a reason why we're not going to be releasing that just a couple of days. After we release it, I think I'll give myself a day off. But the last time we released a playtest version, there's this one woman, and I don't know whether Sophie or I don't know whether you're this person, but man, over 80 pages of revisions, not revisions but bugs that they found, and yeah, most of them unfortunately had to do with the interior. And I think this playtest build, we are not even going to have the Liz interior because there are a heck of a lot of things that we have to work out. 90% of my work since day one has been around the outside. I did the first, iteration of the interiors. Laura took, over after that. I did the first version, then I did the second version, and then we had to scrap those. And then Laura took over, and because by then we had standards and practices worked out. And at the very start, when this was a solo project, and I was like, okay, got to do interiors, just bang, 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 just pump them out as fast as I could. And I was like, well, we'll find ways to. I mean, we'll come back to them later to revise them. And yeah, I think initially I did about 50 interiors all on my own. I still have them saved to the drive. But, looking back, some of them just are just not good. And, I like Laura's, the work that she's doing. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to have to go around this fence. Well, I could walk on the fence, but I'm like, yeah, why not go around? I want bolder text on that garden shop. I mean, it should be like big letters. I'm going to see what we can do about that. I'm sorry. It's right now. It's loading another sector, so it's sort of frozen. I'm hoping it's not crashing. Please don't crash. Ah, there we go. And we're sort of in the middle of the night. But let's go in here. Take a look over here. Okay. Where's the stuff? I put that stuff into that sector. This is very odd. Did I put it in the wrong sector? let's just run up to the other place, which was the porch at the back. Oh, by the way, this texture on the glass of the greenhouse, that's just a temporary bug. Laura's already fixed it. And now we're just going to be staring at cat butt for a minute or two while it loads. But I'm just going to run up the street to Old Town to this red house. Actually, we can drive. Let's say we just drive there. I mean, come on, it's faster. I forget. By the way, our coder's probably, I mean, I told him I'd be like back in about an hour, and it's been much longer than an hour. But seriously, it's Sunday, it's Memorial Day. Come on, guy, take a couple of hours off. I mean, literally, he works 7 days a week. I kind of like his work ethic. He's got my work ethic in a way. And on top of that, he's got 2 kids and a wife. We're going to have to make the turning a little bit tighter on this. This is not good. The turning should be much tighter. Somehow that got screwed up. I mean, really, this thing should turn on a dime. Literally just zip. But anyway. By the way, I didn't resent. Like I said, we had this one playtester who gave in like 80 pages worth of bugs. That was awesome. Yeah. For some reason, the turn radius has been screwed off. This curve, I mean, look at how it's turning. This is ridiculous. I'm going to have to talk to Lance and just say, okay, dude, we're going to have to fix this. Actually, I know how to fix it. Somehow my work got changed or not saved. And it's loading again. Again, this is within the editor, by the way. When this is played outside of the editor, it runs much faster. So, anyway. And kitty butt. Close up the kitty butt. All right, kitty butt. Oh, are you stuck on something? All right, great. We're just going to run it. All right, great. And, you know, one thing I want to get fixed also before this is really there should be, I mean, just about around every corner, there should be, you know, a flock of bugs or something that you see moving. I mean, I did one. I mean, right now the world is still very, very motionless, and that annoys me. I do have something that is almost ready to go that I'm just going to stick right into the main scene for the next, but it's I don't know how often it's going to be showing up. I want there to be, you know, bugs in the distance that you're like, oh, you know, I'm low on fun. And Lance says he's got the mood bars worked out. I don't see them dipping at all. I mean, is time simulation ended? I don't think so. Oh, no, 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 sorry. I took the wrong right. Gotta go all the way down. Yeah, the red house on the right here. Just want to make sure. I think maybe I put the things in the wrong sector. Let's see. Or maybe they're far beneath the terrain. Yep, these guys are right back here. But here, see, I got to fix the grass. What is it? Mask back here, so that it doesn't overlap that patio area there. So that's cool. But it seems that we're having still problems with the greenhouse. That's odd. So I have to go back to my vegetation scene. And once we get that solved, I think we're going to be up to an hour. And by then, I'm going to go, maybe bye-bye. We'll see. Because there's other things I want to do this evening. Like I said, I might watch Puss in Boots. It's the most recent one. I forgot to ask my friend Scotty. I went to visit him in New Hampshire just yesterday. And he's big into going to the movies. He's probably seen it. I would have been interested in his review. So yeah, Veg 21. Maybe something wasn't said, but anyway, this is going to take a minute to come up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what my 53-year-old bladder has had instructed me to do and visit the restroom. And in the interim, we're just going to go and put this up and go BRB. And by the way, Sophie, is there anything you want to talk about? Anything? I mean, have you seen any movies, any TV that you really liked lately? When I come back, I don't think I've discussed. Well, no, the last time I streamed here, I talked about Silo, that new series that I started watching recently. I'll be right back once this is done. See you in a moment. Once I get the audio. My time at Porsche. Well, that's loading. Let's see. I guarantee it's. Oh no, it's loaded. Great. So there seems to be something wrong here. My time at Porsche. I'm just going to Google that really quick before I get to work. My time at Porsche. Oh, neat. Is it sort of like one of these? What? Jeez, what is it? Like Animal Crossing, sort of. Oh, farming game. I see. I see. Scotty, my friend, man, he was big into Animal Crossing. The most recent one. It's pretty cool what I saw. I mean, it's kind of neat what those guys did. I could see it definitely came from the country that brought us. You know, the Kikomori. Yeah. And I don't have my cup. I'm sorry, I have to come back because I don't like advertising beverages other than Coca-Cola on my channel. Okay, here we go. I am a Coca-Cola addict. I just have to say straight up. I mean, that is the one. I mean, I'm like, that's when my leftist, credentials just go out the window. Coca-Cola. Oh, I mean, really, it's it. I mean, here, and you must understand where I'm coming from. I am allergic to coffee. I cannot drink coffee. Um, it's just a thing. I mean, I understand that some of my reactions to coffee are what everybody feels. I mean, I understand that the painful and flowing diarrhea, no, not painful, but just really just let's just say urgent diarrhea that it causes is common to everybody. But what got me is that really coffee again, it puts me to sleep. I never understood where people are like, "Oh, I'm not good until I've had my morning coffee," and or "Oh, I better not drink any coffee before I go to bed." Because I mean, honestly, if I drank coffee, I would have to go to sleep because it just knocked me out. There was something about it, so and also I mean, I considering I'm this guy who's like, oh, I didn't bake. This is why it didn't appear. I didn't bake this change into the this, and that's why I'll fix it right now. Damn it! And then we'll go back and fix it, test it, and then by then we'll be done. And I will say this down south. Any true Tennessean will back me up on this, and a lot of good true Southerners will back me up on this. In some places down south, Coca-Cola is a morning beverage. It is preferred over coffee in some places, and so that is one of the few things where Eric Blumrich and the American South overlap each other in the Venn diagram. It's like, yeah, can I tell you, other than some of their crazy habits, I kind of like Waffle House. Uh, yeah, Stardew Valley. That is the game that I was trying to think of. Uh, Sophie, by the way, is it sounds like a very French name. Are you in France or like Quebec? I'm not trying to. If you don't want to say, that's fine. I'm just curious because I mean, yeah, my life is an open book here. I live in Portland, Maine, and I think some people have watched streams on here. Unfortunately, it tags your house when you go to Google Maps. They saw that. So because of my OCD, I'm sorry, I have to go in here and just double check sometimes and double bake because the last time go out one level, bake, and then go into the main scene. And I think after this, what I'm going to do is last time I streamed here on YouTube, I was trying to get the uranium glass working, and I think that's what I'm going to finish up. But I have a feeling as soon as I stop, streaming, I really do need to go over to Messenger because Lance or Coders it probably has a million and one questions for me that I have not answered yet, and I got to do that. So. Oh, Belgium! Ah, yes, yes, yes. I have visited Belgium twice. Um, yeah, I went through Brussels. What happened was I took the whatever it is the Dover ferry, and we landed Ostend in the Netherlands, and I think we went from Ostend on the train out to Brussels, and from there we just traveled straight. No, in Brussels, we rented a car and we just drove straight into Luxembourg. And I don't remember much other than that first day because it was quite a whirlwind. Hello, hola, senor, as well, senor Espano. Um, yeah, because I mean, understand, we here in the United States, unlike you guys in Europe, where you guys can get on a train and literally be in like three countries away where they speak a different language within the course of a couple of hours or less than an hour in some cases. To me, I had never been anything through like that. And another thing is when I was in Europe that time, there had been a deadly football hooligan riot in Germany, I think. And I mean, even Margaret Thatcher commented on, "Oh, I've already burned this. I've already done this twice." Yeah, but she commented on. She said, "Oh goodness, they were horrible," and we were on the ferry with the football hooligans. And they literally had armed guards with the machine guns and the attack dogs lining us on each side from the train onto the ferry because they were like, these guys have wrecked half of Dortmund or something. And oh goodness, it was again, I was this 18-year-old kid from Tennessee, and this was happening in the middle of the night. We get on the ferry and I see all these drunk English football hooligans. I see one of them, he's like 3.5 feet tall, carrying this keg of beer as big as he is on top of it. Man, Europe was awesome. It was just, and I think that's why I don't remember much of Belgium, because after that night of not getting much sleep, also that was the longest boat ride I had ever taken. Sorry, we're gonna get to work here again. Sorry for like boring people with my travel stories here, but yeah, I just remember seeing the lights go up and down, but I mean, it was interesting. But when we got into Belgium and finally got into our car, I think I just like sort of fell asleep for a couple of hours, uh, and I'm pretty sure about. I mean, even though you're from Belgium, the English football hooligans. They a pint and a fight. They like the Royster Doister, don't they? And this was actually back in 19 again, Margaret Thatcher's days, back during the time of the Cold War. So, all right, so we want to get our little kitty cat, make sure that they are in the same place yet. Actually, we're going to stick it right there by the golf cart. Yeah, I really need to fix that turning radius. That's just stupid. Hmm. My father, we tried to go to Czechoslovakia, but at that point, the red the Berlin Wall was still up, and we were only able to get we went to Vienna, and because my father really wanted to go to Prague, show me Prague. I think he had been there when he was young, um, and this was before the Berlin Wall fell, so it was like not full of tourist crap and everything, and we would have been able to see the real Prague. But back then, communists, so they had their literally open for 1 hour, and I remember heute ist geschlossen. The would just slam. I think they made the window to make it sound loud when it slammed down. I mean, the communist bloc didn't mess around back then. Let me tell you. I just geschlossen. And the collective moan from everybody and my father. Shit. I still remember to my day. Shit. Because he didn't want to. My father was born in Austria, and to him it was like going back to free. I mean, it would have been like me going back to Fayetteville, Tennessee. He just wanted to go through Austria as a way to get to that place. There we see all the stuff inside there now. See, so excellent. We're good on those two things. I have not been able to tackle these two things. Laura put a lot of work into putting these things together, and every time I tried to get him in there, something came up. Lance, our coder needed something from us, and it was just a simple thing needed to be done. And so glad it's over my shoulders. And in the case of the stuff that was inside of the it need to be redone. So right now, before we lose anything, what I want to do actually I'm going to go into this. I'm going to open the golf cart and we're going to take care of this turning radius crap. This is just, okay, max turn, 90, max moves. Turn speed should be max. Tilt speed, max. I think really that's it. And a max tilt, 25 degrees, that's pretty extreme. Nah, I think that's pretty good. I mean, that's half of four, almost half of 45. I think we could deal with that. Yeah, boy. And yeah, after that, we got essentially, we got a car and we just drove. We went to Luxembourg. I remember Luxembourg, city, and I remember a little bit of Germany. But the problem with Germany at that point is, I mean, Germany was completely, of course, before the fall of the Berlin Wall. And it was mostly just American, well, it's still a lot of American crap over there, but it was American servicemen, American crap everywhere. We really, I mean, Switzerland, I mean, yeah, the hard asses, very conservative country, et cetera, et cetera. But man, best scenery, I have to say, I saw in all of Europe. Uh, you know, just beautiful. Those valleys, where you'd be at this valley, these huge glacial valleys, and you'd be able to just go see 8 villages strung out because you'd be able to see like about 10 miles of that valley spread out, and you'd hear the church bells from each village chiming out. Like, oh, so nice. But yeah, Austria. Here in the United States, by the way, I always try to dispel this because it needs to be dispelled. People say, "Oh yeah, Austria, they're like Germany light, aren't they?" No, Austria is Germany cubed. I mean, remember that's where Fritzl came from. That's where Hitler came from. That's where, I mean, really, I mean, Austria is in a hard ass competition with Switzerland, I'll say. And I like I said, my father had no love for. But then again, he was born in 1941, and I'm pretty sure you understand what was going on in Austria at that time. So, and by the way, I want to reconcile and submit this before you lose this. Oh no, because I changed the prefab. I actually wanted to test the turning speed really quick again. So we're going to do that really quick. Make sure that that's good. Mm. And as always, after an hour of streaming, all of a sudden we get viewers. Have trains in Mexico. You used to have I mean, well, our country used to have a great rail network as well. But uh, yeah, we're allergic to public transportation in a lot of this country, and it just drives me up the effing wall. I mean, I in the United States, our official ID is our driver's license. That's what a law officer will ask for. They don't ask you for ID. Well, lately they've started to ask for ID, and in some of the urban areas, they'll ask for ID. But really, that's what I mean. We consider, your proof of citizenship in this country is your ability to drive. I have not owned a car in almost 25. I think in over 25 years. I walk everywhere. I don't even like bikes. Um, quite frankly, I think our city should go back to being like designed around pedestrians. We'll have a few streets that a few delivery vehicles and such can go down, but really just leave your car at the outside. I mean, come on, walk, guys. It doesn't hurt you. In this country, we're allergic to walking too. When I go on Facebook, and none of my Facebook friends will dispute this, and I know none of them are watching, but let me tell you, when I grew up in the South, and the Southern United States is the home of obesity, and boy, it still has a very slow turn radius. I'm gonna have to talk to Lance about this. I think something got a little bit screwy. But anyway, uh, there is just well, if I lived down in the southern United States and I had the heat and humidity they have down there, I know that I would have an aversion to like being outdoors and walking a mile and a half. But Thankfully, I live up here in Maine, where I get to walk at a mile and a half, and wind chill -10. So there you go. I don't want to own a car for the rest of my life. Actually, no. There is a kind of car. If you've ever seen the film Brazil, you'll know what I'm talking about. And by the way, I'm sort of done with Peace Island because we've settled those issues other than like the turn radius, and that's something I need to talk about. But this is the only kind of car I'd like. And let me see, car made. It's still made on the Isle of Man, which is a Peel Trident. I'm gonna bring that up over here so you guys can see. These are awesome. So, I mean that. If you in the opening scenes of Brazil, the film by Terry Gilliam, Mr. Lowry, he's driving a car, one of these. It was a kind of car made on the Isle of Man. And if you don't know what the Isle of Man is, boy, well, geez, you don't need your driver. And they still sell these, and they sell them in kits. This is the only car I want. I could see myself going, and yeah, they can't go very fast, but whatever. But man, I want the electric version though. But and if we had decent public transit in this, country, I wouldn't even need this. And actually, up here in Maine, we have excellent public transit. We are on Amtrak. There are Zoom buses. There are dozens of ways to get to places without your bus. And also because there are casinos, I think in Connecticut to the south of us, there are buses always going down to Connecticut, and such. And yeah, I'm a big fan of public transit. And people in the country go, oh yeah, it's dirty, it's crowded. Well, that's because we refuse to fund it. Just saying. And I was going to go back to my friends down south. Can I just say, and I will say that every one of them is obese or overweight. And no shaming. Trust me, I understand. I sometimes during the year I am overweight, especially during the winter. I become classically overweight with high blood pressure during the winter. So I mean, no judgment there, but I mean, I know it's because the reason that I am only slightly overweight and borderline blood pressure is because I have walked everywhere for pretty much the last 13 years. I mean, occasionally when I go to the grocery store and get a huge amount of groceries, like, about 200, like, I mean, these days, $100 worth of groceries in the United States is not much. I'll get a taxi. And fortunately, we have a lot of taxis here in Portland as well. I'll take a taxi before I take an Uber, by the way, because we have local taxi companies here in Portland that have been here for decades. And I don't really like, I refuse to use Uber because they never took the sexual assault charges leveled against the company seriously at all. Not at all. We'll take Lyft, even though they have similar problems, but not as bad. And I mean, Uber's callousness toward that was just mind blowing. I only booted this up again just so we could, I don't know. I should really just shut up and go on to work on something else. But like, I was talking about something really important, like my opinion about television series I haven't watched. Yeah. Oh, soccer. Oh, yeah. I mean, also down in Central America and South America. Yeah. It never caught on here in the United States. They try. They try very hard. And, we hosted the World Cup here, I think back in the 90s, I think. And I mean, we got soccer fever. We had our own stars. I think the most recent interest we had with soccer is I think our women's soccer team here in the United States just really cleaned up. And go girls. I'm not interested in sports at all, except slap fighting. I'm with Penguin Zero. I think slap fighting is just the pinnacle of sporting. I could go on forever. And by the way, I have to say this before I sign off, because because unfortunately Logan Paul has gotten into slap fighting, And there are different kinds of slap fightings, different leagues, and his league is bullshit. I mean, literally, I've seen them, and it's just so embarrassing because it's like they go out on stage and they mock for the crowd and everything, but that's just bullshit. But I'll go to YouTube. Um, there's this one league of slap fighting, and they are not about, showboating and slap. Actually, Penguin Zero has, done guest commentary on one of these. Yeah, here we go. Slap Fight Championship. This is, the one that I would endorse. This is the only sport that I'm into. And it's because I have never seen such gentlemanliness between competitors. Because if you're not aware, the object of slap fight is to literally knock your opponent off with one hit and maybe two hits. And I mean, there are many times where somebody, it's been stopped, and the person who just dealt the slap is like, I want to stop I would rather stop it than win, because this guy, he's trying to be too macho. He's trying to take too. He can't take another. I see him bleeding. And anyway, and it's very simple because I mean, heck, when you're just slapping each other, it only takes a couple of minutes for one of these things to get over with. So it's quick and easy. And also, last thing I love about it, these people are prime examples of just American Americans. What really gets me is there was this one slap fight I saw recently, and it's like the guy comes on and the commentator's going, "Oh yeah, he's expanded a lot over the last years. He's done some expansion." Yeah, he's probably drunk about 15 cases of beer since the last time you saw him, if not 150 cases. These guys, they don't shy away from the cheeseburgers, and when you hear their stories and such, it's like, oh, why I'm here. I like slapping. And then it just fades to the next guy. Again, sport of kings. Anyway, on that, I will endorse slap fighting and tiny cars from the Isle of Man and public transit. Because right now I need to get onto another part of development, and I'm going to screw up a heck of a lot in that, and I'd rather do that away, not streaming, because it's embarrassing. So hey, nice to see you guys and gals, Hispano, Sophie. Jeez, I don't even know French or Flemish for good night. I figure it's probably very close to go to not or something. Let's just see here. What is it? What is Belgium? Is it just shut up? No, that's New Jersey for good night. Yeah. Buenos noches, Hispano. I know. Good Nacht. Yeah. And that entire area, it's pretty much, if you just say something, God Nacht, and they understand. Good Nacht and Buenos noches, ladies and gentlemen, and those in between. See you in a couple of days. Bye bye.